Welcome back to a new video. So I think the audio should sound better for this commentary. I haven't been doing as much of them lately, so I didn't notice a couple videos ago when I had a complete audio breakdown, and that's because I bought a webcam. So the webcam actually can record audio, and my computer was setting that to be the default thing instead of my nice Blue Yeti mic, which I use for all my other commentaries and hopefully all future ones as well, because the microphone obviously is much better than whatever garbled gobbledygook that sound was from that video, which I just didn't realize that. So I guess I should just listen to a little bit of the video before I get it all rendered. But I haven't had issues for audio and the quality of sound in quite a while, so I am glad that's pointed out. And if there ever is like really weird sounds in videos, particularly ones where I'm doing commentary, always let me know, because even if I listen to a little clip of it, I'm not going to listen to the entire video to make sure every single thing is perfect, just because of the frequency of my uploads. That would just take a lot of time to do, and I don't really like listening to myself that much. I'm not that narcissistic. But this was the day after I went home for Easter, and this was after the eclipse. So this was on the Monday, and the eclipse in my area, it was like 99.3 or 7%. It was almost entirely, and I had the cool glasses to be able to see. And when it was at its absolute peak, you could actually look at the eclipse, which was really interesting. That's how little of the sun was showing. It wasn't, like burning my eyes or anything, but it's definitely a very interesting thing, and it was very cool to see how all of the birds, because my backyard does attract a lot of birds and wildlife, so I was able to hear them all kind of freaking out, and it was very interesting. And also the dogs in the house seemed to get really tired after that, but they're always kind of sleeping, so it's kind of hard to tell if they were extra sleepy because it went dark for a little bit, or if they're just being dogs that sleep a lot. But definitely the birds and the animals outside were freaking out when it was getting dark, and it was just a really interesting thing. And it was only completely, I'd say, like mostly dark, so basically like right before nighttime, the sun is like almost entirely set, like that kind of look, just for, I don't know, 30 seconds. It wasn't really too long, but certainly very interesting. But anywho, with this workout, I didn't have work on this day as well, so I believe I worked out somewhat early, but I had driven back home early this morning to avoid, which I didn't, avoid the traffic of the eclipse, since in my area of, well, I guess the entire state, there was a lot of traffic getting to different places for it. But I got home well before it actually happened, so I didn't have to rush in that regard. But I was trying to do doubles in the snatch, and as you saw, I got to 110 and then started missing, and 113 started missing, and it is what it is with that. It's not the end of the world. I missed a little bit too much, but it's kind of one of those things where I wanted to do doubles, and I wanted to push to get a heavier one than I probably should have, and it just sets me up for the next week to hopefully be able to do 110 or maybe 113 for doubles, and just start building the consistency in the snatch, which, I'm saying that as I'm missing snatches, but I kind of knew that coming into the session I wasn't going to be training fantastic, just because, driving 3.5 hours, and ended up being actually today, because of the traffic, a little bit longer than what it normally is in the car. I was like probably not going to have a fantastic session because of that. And I think I drank a bunch of wine the night before. I think that was Sunday, so wasn't really that hungover for it, but obviously not optimal for recovery. So drinking a bunch of wine and then driving 3 hours, probably not the best thing to do for training, but thankfully it's a pretty rare occurrence. Clean jerks actually went really well, so I took really big jumps because I was kind of getting tired at this point. And so I did 70 here, and I jumped all the way up to 120, and I did that for a double as well. So I did clean jerk plus clean jerk, so I didn't do 2 cleans and 2 jerks, 2 separate movements, which is certainly very, very difficult once you do a clean jerk to set it down and then try to do the same movement again. It's definitely, I guess intimidating is a good word to say. I got a beagle underneath me that's trying to get to my bed, which if he's smart, he'll figure out how to get over to it. And I wasn't trying to do these super fast. Same with like snatches. Like I wasn't trying to do them in rapid succession. I was just trying to do them well and just get some work in. We'll see how this one looks. I believe these 120s actually felt pretty well, or felt pretty good. There, I had to double bounce. So it looks like I kind of overpulled that one a little bit. You can hear the tippy taps of Charles trying to jump up on my bed behind me. And then the last set, I jumped up to 140. And this one, it's one of those weird sets, like doing doubles and clean jerks. Like I don't really know what my best double. I'm doing clean jerk plus clean jerk, but it's probably around here. Or maybe like 145. So I know I've done 2 cleans, 2 jerks with a similar or more weight. And I've done 2 cleans and a jerk. I don't do those too much. Or a clean and 2 jerks. That's been the more common one that I've done. I think I've at least attempted doing a clean plus jerk with 150. I don't think I've actually done it, but that could be something I could try to do. But it's one of the reasons that I wanted to do 2 separate movements is then I'm not re-racking it and trying to catch it there, because that does increase the amount of fatigue and wear and tear on the wrist and stuff. So I figured doing a double would be sufficiently difficult, and it definitely was. But definitely glad I was able to do that. And then here you'll see some of the accessory work I did. So I threw my glasses on just so I could see. I don't know if I was listening to a YouTube video or not. Sometimes I do that when I'm doing these light accessories. It kind of distracts me from the, I guess, like stretch. But I just don't really obviously enjoy it. I don't think most people enjoy doing snatch, shots, press. But did this set here with 40. And then went up to 60. And then did some standing snatch grip pressing with 60 and 70. And then you'll see some different accessory work as I move on. I did some triceps and biceps as well, which is something that I'm trying to stay consistent with. It's a little bit more difficult to do at the house. It's really easy to do at the gym because there's dumbbells and machines and stuff for all that stuff. So it's really easy to get a good arm workout with that. I think that's just generally good for me to do to help increase the stability overhead and all of that, and just make sure there's no weakness in the different chains of the muscles, and just build more strength, I guess. Like, because it's just I think my arms will always be kind of a weakness. Like my quads will, and my arms will always be the weak areas. My posterior chain and back and all of that will just carry me through a lot of lifts, but I always got to be getting all of my weaknesses, at least as much of them as I can, improved. But there's a snatch press, and I decided not to stand it up just because I didn't want to. I didn't actually fail that, but here is when I did the regular, or I guess standing snatch grip press. Here was 60, which is one of the most difficult. I mean, from the bottom, obviously it's more difficult when you're sitting in that full squat, but even standing at the top, it's so difficult because you just have the worst leverage for it. Once you get it moving, then it's pretty easy to grind it out, but just initially getting it more than like an inch off your back is just so difficult. But I want to continue to hammer the overhead strength and the overhead stability. And for me, doing a lot of movements like this, I can do a lot more frequently and with a lot more fidelity, because I'm not worried about like snatch balances. Like, they're great, but they're just like, I have to end up loading it. Now I've got up to 145. Like I don't want to do that at this point. Like, it's it's just a lot of weight, and it's not that that would be bad. Of course, it's good to be able to hold a heavy weight above your head, but at the end of a session when I'm already tired from doing the doubles and doing pretty heavy work in the classics, like, it's nice to have a movement that's just pretty simple to do, and one that's still going to have some carryover, still going to have some benefit, but I'm not like having to get hyped up to do it. I'm just getting what I can get and then moving on to the next thing. I mean, as you see there with that last one, it gets really difficult really quick to be able to get any sort of momentum when you're pressing it. And after this, I did the tricep work. So I did some tricep overhead extensions, and I randomly went up to 70 kilos and just couldn't move it at all. So I dropped it behind me. It was kind of funny because usually I don't do this move, or I haven't done this particular movement in a little bit, but it's one, if I'm training at the house a lot and I need to do some arm stuff, is one that I usually go to, since the only other real option is to do it with just holding a plate, or to do it with bands, which is something I like to do. I did record some band work, but I didn't put it at the end of this video. I just did some extra shoulder stuff, some like rear delt flies and stuff. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, as you saw there at 70, just wasn't moving. And then I did one set of these curls, and kind of cheating with the curls, but it's one of those things where I'm trying to just get work in. I'm not worried about building the best biceps possible and doing all whatnot. Just trying to make sure that I'm getting some good contractions. And on the way down, I guess it's probably not the worst thing in the world to kind of help it down and kind of lean down a little bit as I bring it down, so I'm not popping my bicep off or doing something crazy like that. Those kind of videos freak me out when people are ripping their biceps doing like a preacher curl or something. Big, not really a big reason why I don't like doing them. I've never liked doing arms. It's one of my idiosyncrasies. I have never really liked bodybuilding work, even though, you know, I have a pretty, you know, decent amount of muscle. It's never really been like, I mean, I've never been excited for hypertrophy, which is, I guess, unique for a male to not really like it at all. But I've always liked performance and been focused on that. But that's it for this one. I'll talk to you on the next one, and hopefully the audio is not messed up, but I'll make sure I check it before I upload it. Talk to you on the next video. Peace.